The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio. Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss trellising as well as water features on your property. Our guest is the editor of the Old Farmer's Almanac, Carol Conner, is going to be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour's full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another week and another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy that you've taken time out of your day to join us and allow us to be part of your day a little bit. My name is Joey Baird. I'm the host. Next to me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Happy you've tuned into the program, whether you're listening to us on one of the 18 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2024 through a radio app, through a podcast replay, an in-studio video replay, possibly through our parent website, which is the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, underneath the Season 8 tab at the top of the page. However you're doing that, thank you very much. Want to be part of the program? You can do that by sending us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can give us a call anytime, toll-free, coast to coast. 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. If nothing more, let us know where you're listening from. Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
Yeah, so Joke of the Week, what part of the plant has the most friends?
I have no idea.
The bud.
Because he, like buddies.
Yeah.
This week's joke is brought to you by Rescue.com.
Rescue.com American-made products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pest insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
Trellising.
Yeah, let's talk about trellising.
It's any device that allows a plant to grasp onto, climb up, and get itself off the ground. Many vegetables, and in some instances fruit, produce twice as much produce when they are trellised than when they are not, because the fruit or the vegetable lays on the ground and insects, bugs, mold, wetness sets in and damages the plant in which, or the fruit in which you're harvesting, or the vegetable. So a trellis, again, can be anything. It can be beautiful. You can pay a lot of money for a trellis, or it can be not very pretty at all, but be extremely functional. Example, you can go to the big box store, Holly, and buy a trellis for $80, a lattice iron trellis, and make it look real nice. Or you can go in the back 40, burn the fabric off your box spring, bring that in the garden, put 2 fence posts on it, and grow cucumbers up it. Very extreme on both ends.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very extreme on both ends, but yes, that's correct. You can also even just, somewhere in the middle, whether you do something where you use a found object and you maybe perhaps make something like we've done things with Christmas wreaths, the wire part, whatever you want to call it, the ring, and then we've strung up beans to the top of a pole, or not beans, string to the top of a pole all the way around, and made like this bean pole trellis, and you can, do an image search on that bean pole trellis. So you can get creative, and you don't have to have a box spring in your backyard. Some people even just get creative with some twine and some strings across 2 fence posts. You can also consider things like maybe you have some kind of busted up tomato cages. You can use those as trellises.
Works for peas.
Well. Yeah, works for peas. Maybe you have some old fencing or chicken wire, whatever. You can certainly use that too.
And it's still an okay thing if you drive around the evening before the morning of junk day. In the nicer areas, you will find some very nice, very well, less used items, anywhere from bookshelves to dressers to radial arm saws to table saws to trellises to cages and anything in between. As long as you're very nice and you pick it up, in a timely manner, get in the vehicle, drive away. Don't be the bandit and burn out and all that. Yeah. I got my dresser.
Right. So you can get creative. You can.
Have you noticed that stuff only appears in the nicer neighborhoods? Because I'm going to clarify, people who are in the average or maybe below average neighborhoods, they don't throw anything out because they can find a use for everything.
I mean, yes and no. I think that people in the middle to lower income brackets, it's not that they don't throw anything out, but maybe they just
wear it out.
Yeah, they wear it out.
Yeah.
I know, like growing up, we had hand-me-downs and definitely used things until it was like definitely worn out. And I know that you and I do that as much as possible.
And then we fix it and use it again.
Yes. But also there is especially if you're on social media, there's a lot of groups called Buy Nothing groups, or even just like the little neighborhood, whatever groups. So you can always look there for whatever it may be gardening related. I know our cat, I'm going to have to switch his cat food, and I'm probably going to either donate his unused cat food, whatever you want to call it, to a local rescue, whatever, or post it in the Buy Nothing group. So,
well, back to the trellising conversation, easier to harvest. You don't have to get on the ground, you don't have to bend over, and you can see that the cucumbers are ready to harvest, and there's not one hiding there, and by the time you realize it, it's almost yellow in the size of an NFL football. So, and for you have difficulty in seeing the color in pole beans, green. Yeah. So by getting them vertical, you are able more to identify.
I'm able to miss them more.
Them more.
Easily.
But you're able to see them hanging down.
I can, I can differentiate between the leaves and the beans. Usually, I don't always get them all, but yeah.
Right, but it makes it a lot easier than you're bending down all the time or getting on your knees. And for people with mobility issues, you can get down. Everybody can get down. It's getting that back up is becoming an issue as you get older in some instances.
Absolutely.
And that's the benefit of potentially a higher raised bed where it's like 24 or 36 inches high, where it's almost waist high. Though it takes a lot more filler, the long-term benefits of it is a higher rate of enjoyment. Easier to see problems. What does that mean?
It means like pests, disease, anything like that, where you may not say you have some sort of pest, whether it be like a potato. You're not going to necessarily trellis your potatoes, but say something like a common pest issue. You're going to know, you're going to see it. You kind of lift up a leaf, and it's easier to lift up and look under leaves when they're right in front of your face. So this way you can see that. You might notice, these leaves are yellowing or curling or look spotted or whatever. And since you're like walking through your garden, it's literally at eye level, you're going to see it.
And you can trellis pole beans, peas. You need to trellis; they're very weak stemmed. Cucumbers, you can actually trellis zucchini. And you can do some smaller squashes. You could do some fruits. Jelly melons can be trellised. Those are a unique vegetable. So there is some limitations to what you can trellis. In those limitations, you can add assistance to those fruits or vegetables in order to support them as the plant and the fruit is developing. You can put netting underneath them and hang a fence post with netting.
We had a squash. What was that thing? A squash 3D trellis?
A shelf trellis.
Shelf trellis. That's what we called it. Yeah, and it was like basically a four-sided trellis.
It was like a racking in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Two layers that was 4 foot by 4 foot, a ground on the ground, a second layer 2 foot up, and a third layer at 3 foot up. There's some videos way old on the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com website there, and it worked well. We grew several Cinderella pumpkins out of self-watering tubs that grew up and sat on the shelf itself or the trellis itself. And I think they were 15 or 20 pounds. We canned them and did the whole thing with them. Yeah. But it was a unique thing that I made out of lumber or limbs that had been trimmed or cut that were going to get thrown away, and some scrap rubber-coated fencing. It lasted about 4 years, and nature took its course, and it rotted, and we moved on. But it was a unique way in order to support large vegetables, large pumpkins.
Yeah, so you can get creative, or like Joy mentioned, you can use some netting. You can even like go and buy some pantyhose, some cheap pantyhose, and use those to support some squash. So you have options to support the squash, and you could still grow it up onto a trellis.
Which prevents a lot of rot issues, because most of these things, if they're setting on the ground, cucumbers, muskmelon, cantaloupe, there was the same thing, honeydew, watermelon, they're sitting on the ground. Yeah. And they're susceptible to anything under the ground, mice, rats, worms, slugs, whatever that can get in there, squirrels, raccoons, that can get in there and devour it or greatly damage what you're trying to grow. So trellising, if you've never looked at it, you can be very creative. Just go on your favorite search engine and type in DIY garden trellis, and you'll have hours of entertainment looking at things and how to modify what you have or create something unique for your personal backyard.
Well, we are brought to you today by our sponsor, Walton's. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At Walton's, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. Walton's even has a full line of their own meat grinders, mixers, and sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's, everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50 at waltonsinc.com to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more.
Hang out with us. When we come back, we're going to discuss the wonderful world of water features. You're tuned in the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now, 1-800-927-SHOW.
Straw bale gardening is all the rage. Get your bale started easily with the Bale Buster Straw Bale Conditioning Formula. This is the only product that has been specifically formulated for use in straw bale gardening. Each unit contains 250 million colony-forming units of trichoderma, fungi, and Bacillus bacteria. In addition to the fertilizer itself, produces fantastic results with a bountiful production of vegetable crops. Start with the best to get the best, traditional or organic formula. Take the guesswork out of conditioning your straw bale. Go to balebuster.com to find out more.
Take the guesswork out of composting with the AeroBin 400 or smaller 200 for easy composting. The AeroBin mimics how nature decomposes waste. The AeroBin is easy to use. You prepare your balanced organic waste, just open it up, drop it in, and close. After a short time, fertile compost is produced, which is easily accessed via the lower side door. The thermal insulation in the AeroBin conserves heat, leading to rapid breakdown of the biomass and works efficiently year-round, even in cooler regions. There is no need to turn the biomass, and it is patent rodent resistant. It has little odor and can kill annoying weeds and seeds. It is BPA free. The AeroBin 400 or 200 comes with a reservoir at the bottom to collect the leachate. When diluted, makes for great compost tea liquid fertilizer. AeroBin composts kitchen and garden waste quickly. Easy to assemble with no special tools needed. The AeroBin makes composting rewarding and easy. Go to Costco.com to purchase. Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at dripworks.com. Are you ready to take control of your home's comfort? With Mr. Cool DIY Direct, empower yourself with our top-notch do-it-yourself cooling and heating solution. Introducing the Mr. Cool 4th Generation Mini Split, the DIY-friendly way to keep your home perfectly comfortable all year round. Our systems come with everything you need for installation, including our patented pre-charge line sets, eliminating the need for expensive professional help. Visit MrCoolDIYDirect.com to learn more and to take the first step towards a cooler, more comfortable home. Don't forget, use promo code GARDEN for a special discount and free nationwide shipping. Mr. Cool DIY Direct. Cool your house, heat your space, all by yourself. Wind River chimes will always be the inspiring harmony. With a large selection and customization options, you will find the sound that soothes you. Visit windriverchimes.com to shop and find out more. Mantis tillers, the premium long-lasting gas-powered tillers, are the perfect solution for any garden. This Mantis machine is available with 2 or 4 cycle engines with a 19-inch or 16-inch tilling width. Your DIY companion in your garden and your lawn converts easily for edging, aerating, and more with optional attachments. Find details at mantis.com. Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated seed company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 10TG24 to save 10% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 10TG24 at jungseed.com for 10% off. Make hand watering easy and enjoyable with HoseLink retractable hose reels. No more tripping over hoses, kinks, tangles, and avoiding rolling the hose up. With an automatic retractable hose link saves you time and effort manually coiling up your hose, leaving your focus on the things that will bring you joy in your garden. Available in multiple colors and lengths, you'll be sure to find the retractable hose that works for you. To find out more and to buy online via hoselink.com, use coupon code radio10 for $10 discount, valid starting April 1st through May 31st. Dig planting holes from a comfortable standing position. Step, twist, pull, and plant. Visit ProPlugger.com.
Welcome back to the Garden with Joe and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. We're going to be talking about water features moments away, but first, a word from our good friends that are helping the bees. Honey, be healthy.
Since 2000, Honeybee Healthy Inc. has helped beekeepers maintain healthy and thriving hives, attracting pollinators to your garden. This year is as simple as hanging a hummingbird feeder with a mixture of sugar, water, and Honeybee Healthy Original. Don't be alarmed to see birds, bees, and butterflies dining together at the feeder. Pollinators coexist peacefully with Honeybee Healthy Inc. They're offering a 10% discount on an 8-ounce bottle of Honeybee Healthy Original. To the show's listeners, enter discount code BEGARDEN, that's BE Garden at checkout. For more information, mixing instructions, and more, visit honeybeehealthy.com. So let's talk about waterscaping.
Waterscaping, water features, not the same, right? They're a little different in each. And with water features or waterscaping, it is a way to, one, add a new level of enjoyment on your property, and two, also help with native and wildlife.
Yes. Basically. So waterscaping is the art and science of incorporating water features into your landscape. So it can be as simple as adding a fountain to a front yard, even a bird bath, or as complex as designing and building a water garden with waterfalls, streams, and ponds. So there's two major benefits for this. Is if you go the more in-depth, like landscape engineer route, you can provide irrigation for your plants. Mm-hmm. And also provides home and rest for wildlife. So those are two, like, I guess, garden benefits, if you want to call it that. Like, garden benefits. But for you, it might, provide a relaxing oasis. It might provide bird watching. It might provide other wildlife watching. It might just sound nice to you when you're with your window open, drinking your coffee in the morning, whatever it may be. So there's
two things you want to be aware of. One, before you start putting the shovel in the ground, whether you're doing it yourself, it's different if you're hiring somebody. One, find out if you're even allowed to build or create what you want to create because of an HOA or your town ordinance or whatever.
You might need a permit.
Or your permit, or if your taxes are going to go up. There's a lot of variables. Your taxes will go up X amount or it'll go down, whatever. And also, if you're doing it, call Digger's Hotline. Make sure there's nothing under the ground. If you're hiring somebody, most of that is taken care of, not the taxes thing, but they have to pull permits too and all this other stuff.
Absolutely. So that's kind of
red tape
essence of what waterscaping is. Now, there's something that is a little bit more eco-minded, which is bioswales and bioretention ponds. So it's kind of like a man-made wetland in a way. So bioswales are wet or dry swales, basically made out of grass. So they're kind of dug into the earth. So
little ditches.
Yeah, little ditches
with walls.
And like here, where our home station is that the
flagship?
Flagship. In the city of Milwaukee, and I drive past these on the way to the office. They put these in the medium, like the center thing.
Right, between the lanes.
Between the lanes.
The grassy knoll.
The grassy knoll. They create these bioswales. So bioswales are dry swales made out of grass, rocks, and other types of vegetation, and they are sloped to move the water through the system in an efficient manner. And
so is it like a slide? It zigzags back and forth to slow and allow it to absorb in the soil, or
it just basically is like a divot.
Okay, just to slow it down so the erosion doesn't occur.
Correct.
Okay.
And the bioretention ponds are that, but they are they capture the storm water and then can create a pond. So
storage.
Pond storage. So they use, when you create these, you use plants and soils to infiltrate and treat stormwater runoff. So they filter, they can reduce pollutants, contamination, and slow down those pollutants to get into the water. They help the water quality.
Right, because the pollution is filtered out through the soil and the plants and all that native stuff before the extra water makes it to the pond, where aquatic life could be damaged because of the oils or antifreezes or whatever that the soil has captured prior to it getting there.
Right. So that's what, just quick little what a bioswale is. Maybe a lot of times if cities do put these up, they'll have little signs and they'll say bioswale or whatever. And you can kind of tell because when you're driving, you can see that they dip down. Like it's not like a normal grassy planted whatever medium. And then sometimes even like local parks will have them one area, or like a rain garden. Rain gardens aren't quite the same as bioswales, but it's a similar concept. So things to think about if you do want to do some sort of waterscaping and you want to keep it more ecologically minded. That's an option that you could consider. So other things to consider, no matter what kind of waterscaping you're doing, is what is your goal?
What is your finances and what is your goal?
Right. Well, no, that's not true because you can have a goal and then you can look
work
at your budget.
towards it. Yeah. Budget it out. But
just like anything in life, like say that I decide that I wanted rainbow color hair and I only want to spend X amount of money, I could work with...
You're going to have to go to the hardware store and get some spray paint.
I could work with a hairstylist to see what I could do within my budget.
Okay.
So you can do that with your waterscaping.
And the other thing with this waterscaping, everything in life, and we all can agree, everything in life looks really good on paper. Some things in life look good on paper, but is a disaster when it's tried to execute it.
I feel like that was like our first 3 years of gardening.
Well, that's really anything. So, yes, hey, I want my yard to look like this. Here's the picture. First of all, if you're going to go to that level, you want to talk to somebody who has already done this. The internet's on computers now. So So you can find a forum, you can find somebody, and or if you get a hold of a company who may do this for you, there is probably a opportunity in which you can talk to, I guess it's the contractor, and say, hey, here's my vision. I am concerned about these things. And they can say yes, no, here. They may even also be able to put you in touch with clients in which they have done that in a neutral setting and say, hey, I'm looking at doing this. What was your experience having it done on your property? Oh, well, it was great. No, this was a disaster. Don't do it this way. Ask more questions you ever could imagine, so you have fewer and less wonders or wish I coulds, or we should not have done that as the process is going through or has been completed.
Absolutely. So what is your goal? What's your cost? Budget?
And there's no bad question. If you don't know, then you can ask.
Right. So then you want to think about location and space. And this might tie into whatever your budget is. So if you are like, I want to afford X, well, your space that you're using, if your budget is lower, your space might be smaller. Or your location might make a difference as to so if you have a larger space or a smaller space, but you have an unlimited budget, that can make a difference as well. But it usually comes into like, what is your goal? What is your budget? And then you think about location and space.
Well, couldn't a waterscape simply be a small, let's say 50 or 80 or 200 gallon little pond in the back with a solar powered sprinkler or a fountain in it and some lilies around it? That could be a waterscape. It could be very simplistic.
It can, but then that brings us to maintenance. So you might have to do a lot of maintenance for your little lily pond.
But you may enjoy doing that.
But you may enjoy doing that. But I'm just saying that you have to consider that it might, if you don't have a filter or something, you might be not enjoying it at some point. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, what are you going to do over winter? If you live in a climate where it freezes over winter, Are you doing this properly so that you don't like crack your basin? Or can you just pull it out, put it into the garage?
Or if your pond has got a rubber mat where you just have to, drain it or something, unless you have fish. I don't know. There's a lot of variables, but there's a lot of creativity. You can create whatever you want, and whatever you want, we're in a world of unique opportunities where anything is probably possible.
Right. And you may enjoy it. You may enjoy having this pond or whatever that you have to clean once a week because you're outside and it's getting you outside and you enjoy the water feature and the fountain and whatever. Another thing to consider is if you are purchasing or setting up or whatever a water feature, waterscape, and you want to have like fish. Again, as Joy had mentioned, what are you going to do with those fish in winter? Are they going to freeze? What's going to happen? Or
is there animals native to your area that enjoy fish that would, because of the easy access of retrieving, they can just jump in the water, grab it, and go, rather than a big pond or a stream where the challenge of getting a fish, say a raccoon or maybe even a bear,
I was just gonna say a
would be very difficult or more difficult.
Right. Yeah. And if you live somewhere in the mountain regions, you might have bears that would like
mountain lions
that may want to come into your backyard, and
you don't have to be in mountain ranges.
Well, I'm just saying that might be more common.
Right.
So it's something to think about. Or again, our friendly little raccoon friends with their little
people hands
might find this an interesting and easy opportunity to get themselves a snack. So that's another thing to consider as well.
Well, now, Holly, that the weather has warmed up, you'll want to protect your yard from various beetles, weevils, borers, and those Japanese beetles that are probably, if not already, soon to be arriving.
And what better way to prevent these pests from destroying your garden than by controlling them while they're larvae? Grub Gone is an easy-to-apply granular product that can spread on your turf to successfully control grub invaders. Developed by Phylum Bioproducts from a naturally occurring bacteria, Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT product that specifically targets only scarab pests, and it's safe to use around bees and other beneficial insects.
It is, if you've already got beetles flying around your yard, then Beetle Gone is the organic water dispersible powder you need to get that can be sprayed directly on your edible plants. Find out more at phyllumbioproducts.com or beetlegone.com. When we come back, Carol Connor of the Old Farmer's Almanac will be with us. You're tuned in to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Water supply tanks provide BPA-free, long-term, safe storage for drinking water from 35 to 1,500-gallon tanks. Water supply tanks has you covered. From preparing for unexpected needs, off-grid property, easy gardening access, and more. For questions and to order, visit watersupplytanks.com and use coupon code GARDENING10 to save 10% off your order. Soil Diva Liquid Microbe Stimulant Spray improves the health of your plants you work hard to grow, stimulates the natural enzymes, and increases beneficial soil bacteria. Go to soildiva.net. Soildiva.net. Your mosquito frustrations are over. Now with Mega Catch, suitable for residential and commercial use. Mega Catch mosquito traps produce a vast array of mosquito-attracted stimuli, including safe CO2, and can attract mosquitoes and other biting insects up to 150 feet away. Easy to use and set up. The Mega Catch is ready to make your outdoor space comfortable and enjoyable at megacatch.com. Use coupon code JOEYB, my name Joey B, at checkout and receive 20% discount on your entire trap order at megacatch.com. Water the right amount for the right time with the soaker hose from Eaton Brothers. Soaker hose is one of the best ways to water without drowning your plants. And with a timer, it becomes a set it and forget it way to keep your plants healthy and happy. Soaker hose is designed to work at low pressure, seeping water slowly and steadily over the course of 15 to 20 minutes so the water can percolate the soil and get to the roots. Designed and manufactured to be lead-free so no harmful chemicals or odors are added to your water supply. Visit EatonBrothers.com for more information and to buy. Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at SummitResponsibleSolutions.com.
Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com.
Transform your exterior wood surfaces with Rubio Monocoat's new Duro Grit. Say goodbye to multiple coats thanks to Duro Grit's incredible patented one-layer technology. Enjoy vibrant, durable color that won't peel or flake even in the harshest conditions. Rubio Monocoat Duro Grit is tomorrow's UV protection for exterior wood. Learn more at RubioMonocoatUSA.com. Use code JOEY for 10% off. That's RubioMonocoatUSA.com.
Rootmaker starts your plants off right and keeps them going through harvest. From their seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots to their large variety of grow bags, 1 to 60 gallons. Their products will provide you the harvest you've never seen before. Visit rootmaker.com. Use coupon code ROOT24 to save 15% off your order at rootmaker.com. That coupon code is ROOT24 to save 15% off your order at rootmaker.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Thank you for tuning into this week's program. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Carol Conair is the 14th editor in the history of the Old Farmer's Almanac, founded in 1792, and the second woman to hold the title. In her role as editor, Carol oversees the development of the annual publication, working closely with the writers and other editors to develop new, useful, and entertaining matter. Welcome to the program, Carol.
Thanks for having me. Joey and Holly. It's so fun.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule, not only to educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. And I'll start with this. While many people may be familiar with the Old Farmer's Almanac, there's a large consensus that aren't. Can you explain to our listeners what the annual publication is?
Absolutely. So back when everybody was a farmer, they needed another book in the house besides the Bible that told them, what the day of the week was, the seasons, marking the time. And also in the case of our almanac and why we believe it is so successful, and it's the oldest continuously published periodical in North America, is because of our long-range weather forecasts. Everybody who grows knows that the weather is the thing they need to know the most about, whether it's short range or if you could plan ahead, like a magic 8-ball, say. So our founder was an astronomer, and he was the first person to really I would say double down and think about sun science combined with climate science and meteorology, and make calculations that were fairly accurate about long range weather. And what a boon to every grower. So that's where we started. And today, it's kind of fun because we go back, we're working on our 233rd issue. No pressure, right? And we go back and you can look at 1825 or 1925 and think about what is 100 years or 200 years done. And, we were doing stories about asparagus and backyard chickens and, tomatoes in those days too. So much has changed. But even, 50 years ago, 1975, a lot of our stories centered around things that you do, like canning and how to preserve your crop, because that was when people started to really turn to the backyard to alleviate food bills. 50 years ago, we had an energy crisis. So it's fun to look back at those times, not fun to think about those hardships, but that people were really resourceful and that the Almanac responded and really kind of catered to the beginner homesteader.
Now, you mentioned one of the most notable things about the Old Farmer's Almanac is the very close or almost precise, accurate forecast that you guys are known for. Is there a secret to that, or is it just knowing certain things about being in publication for 200 years and looking at certain specific patterns when it comes to forecasting weather?
Well, here's where, information and data are really upping the game, but also where weather patterns, as erratic as they are being, is also is a challenge. Today we use actually the same formulas that Robert B. Thomas used in 1792. And again, as I said, he was an astronomer, so he was really a pioneer in thinking about sun science. So, the cycle of the sun, we're on sun cycle 25 since it's been recorded, and those are multi-year cycles. And we have seen a wild one, which may or may not have contributed, to the hottest summer last year, and El Nino this now. So, that's just one layer. And so he crunched data across sciences, which was novel at the time. But now we have a ton more data, really according to those same formulas that we can look at. However, there is more aberration in the more data you have. So our accuracy is really great, like 100% in some places. Last year, I think we had, just for precipitation, we had a very, very, very good record. But temperature, it was even hotter than we predicted. So it really depends. And we work with very scientists who work with our formula that dates back to the very beginning.
Wow, that's definitely very amazing. So there's a new guide, the Container Gardener's Handbook. It just came out last month. It is quite comprehensive, very thorough. What can our listeners to expect when they pick up a copy? When they pick up a copy of the Container Gardener's Handbook?
Well, I don't know about you, but when I drive around, I see a lot of people I see raised beds everywhere and containers. People, I think the pandemic really helped people turn to the outdoors. So if you have a windowsill, great. Patio, great. Backyard, maybe you're rethinking, I could do something more with this. So I see this wherever I go. And I think containers are just that, to me, it's just so accessible to everybody. So you pick up the book and what you're going to get is a how-to from A to Z. You're going to get the 36 most popular container plants and profiles on how to grow each one. And that includes some food and herbs too, not just, flowers and other plants. But the idea of, I think from the very beginning, thinking about the container itself is so important. So we all get marketed to, like, this will be beautiful. And, here's this ginormous plant that will make your life better. But can you move it?
Right.
You can grow pumpkins in 5-gallon containers, but can you carry them around? So maybe you would want to do a dwarf squash in a material container or a fabric container. depending on your needs or accessibility. So to me, I think the Container Gardening Handbook just puts growing anything kind of at hand or at your fingertips for anybody. So it's a great place to start. And then if you're kind of digging in deeper, it's going to give you some other deeper knowledge like pests and diseases and really how to propagate, and share the bounty. So kind of like all those things.
And it's interactive. You can actually write in this, like my container veggies, the plant, when you planted it, observation, notes, so you know what's going on. Because we've all wrote those little notes and we forgot where we put it, or the notebook got, wherever. So you have you have pages in here where you can document what's going on, good or bad.
I think that's why I like it. It's like a very helpful, like I said, it's comprehensive guide. It definitely is a handbook versus just like I don't know,
a garden book.
A garden book. Yeah,
I know. You guys are great. Exactly. We're telling you to write in the book. It's so fun. It's like against the laws of books, but that's really what you should do.
Right.
And that's why we provide the pages. And that's really from readers telling us, I need places to write stuff down. And we're like, okay, let's give you really good paper inside these pages right where you want them,
Now, you mentioned, size of container, because everything looks pretty, and then when you fill it up, it's 400 pounds. You can't move it. What is some other tips to keep in mind for people who are not in the mindset like Holly and myself, or you who do gardening year-round or think about it 24/7?
Exactly. Well, I think, yes, thinking about the type of container, what does it weigh, what size do you need? We give all of those measurements for, all the things you're probably going to want to try to grow. And I think that's really helpful because you can sort of just determine size. So thinking about that, okay, that's big, that's small, like what kind of then material will I want? And then we talk a lot about, what's in the pot. And so it's like, what is the mix in there and what's right for those certain plants that you're trying to grow? So many house plants, for instance, we just borrowed them from tropical places and brought them into our homes in little miniatures. So they require some other things. But so I think it gives you a really good idea about that. And then also the idea of a lot of people will do containers outside, but they're not living like you're in Wisconsin. But so you might need to bring a lot of things inside. So how many house guests really can you accommodate?
Right.
And what kinds and what really will succeed or not. Many of us have tried to grow certain herbs over the winter, and some just really aren't going to succeed without the light unless you really supplement the light, So we talk about all those issues. So I think it just, again, like kind of makes it accessible, but hopefully, avoids pitfalls for people too.
Right. And the internet is a fantastic piece of equipment, but also if you're searching for, like in the back of the handbook, diseases and bugs, I've got this bug on this plant. Now I can go to the back of the book and identify it instantly and not have to search through a bunch of web pages to try to find, what it kind of looks like this. You have it all listed in the back of the book very easily to identify, and then what to do about it or what the bug is.
I can't tell you, that's music to our ears because that's a tough section to put together and it takes a lot of time. And my fellow editors will be very happy to hear that that's useful because we feel like that's probably the outstanding part of the book, is because when you need a quick reference, the internet can kind of steer you down a rabbit hole when you're just like, I need to ID it. I want to know what to do. And so many of the solutions are simple and right at hand.
Fantastic. So many people are told to put things like broken terracotta, broken glass, even sponges, rock, sand in the bottom of their containers for drainage. What is this a myth? Is that necessary? Why?
I love this question. So fun. Okay, complicated, right? If you have a very tall, beautiful ceramic container that you bought and you don't want to put $25 bag dirt in there, you might want to put a filler because the plant isn't going to ever grow that whole height. So it really, again, depends on the situation. But I would not recommend putting anything heavy, because we're already talking about things that tend to kind of be hard to move around. And I also feel like you can use much more organic material, whether you're growing something that you're planning to eat or not. Something like your egg cartons are pretty benign, or cardboard that doesn't have any color or tape on it are things that you can put down there, or just simply newspaper, newsprint, as it exists in your world these days. So yeah, I think it's much more trying to think about what is going to contact whatever you're planting, eating, seeing, but you also do want to take into consideration what are the roots and the size of that planter.
Right. I mean, we tell people that the internet, there's some good stuff, but you got to filter out the good with the bad, because there's some people out there, they're looking for clicks and they're looking for nickels every time you click, and they really don't care if they're telling you the right or wrong. As long as you're clicking on their stuff, that's really all they care about, and that gives a bad name to everybody else who's trying to provide good information and truthful information to those who have no clue what they're doing and want to learn.
That's really a good point that you bring up. It's worth digging in and looking at your source. I know that you've seen some of our products, and almanac.com is our website, and people can find plant profiles there that are fact-checked and researched by farmers and growers from across North America. I mean, we really represent, I would say, all the zones in a way. We're trying to think about everybody in North America trying to grow.
Fantastic. Well, you did just touch on our last question. We really enjoyed having you on the program. And again, if people want to find all of the great information for the Old Farmer's Almanac
and get the book,
and get the book and all that great information, where do they go again?
Well, almanac.com is a great place to go to buy any of our products. But also we are on newsstands. We're old fashioned in that way. You can find us also at a lot of lawn and garden stores. Like, I don't know if you have Lowe's where you are, or Tractor Supply, and almanac.com in Canada also has our products. So Amazon is also a place to find all of our books. The Container Gardener's Handbook is the third in our series. And then the fourth is going to be a houseplants book.
Well, Carol, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered and the education you provided, not only Holly and myself, but all of our information. And thank you for the effort that you've put forth to help all of us gardeners grow better each year.
Thank you. It was a wonderful spending time with you.
Thank you. And when we come back, it's Your Garden Questions, Our Garden Answers. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now, 1-800-927-SHOW.
Watering is the key to a healthy garden, but it can take up a lot of your time. Water less with Soil Moist. Grow beautiful plants with less water. Soil Moist polymers reduce your plant's watering by 50%, reduce transplant shock and soil compaction, and are effective in your soil for 3 to 5 years. It is an effective watering management aid that is ideal for internal and external plantings, such as trees, shrubs, containers, baskets, flower beds, vegetables, and turf. Soil Moist acts as a form of insurance for your plants and is environmentally friendly. It is easy to apply at the time of planting or transplanting. Spend more time doing what you enjoy and let Soil Moist work smarter for you. Bolster your plant's nutrient and water uptake with Soil Moist. Enhance microbial and plant growth. No need to spend extra time worrying about watering your plants. Easy to follow instructions right on the label. To find where to purchase and to see all their products, contact your local garden center or visit soilmoist.com.
Protect your plants from damage with the 3-in-1 Plant Guard and Special Blend Fertilizer. Visit ivorganics.com. Use promo code RADIO10 to save 10% off your order. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online. Deer Defeat is an all-natural based animal repellent to keep deer and rabbits away from your valuable plants that is odorless after 30 minutes and dries clear. It creates a continuous, invisible shield to protect your plants. Works for 30 days through rain, snow, and freeze. Will not clog your sprayer. Apply to your property without environmental damage. You can spray directly onto your plants up to flowering, then apply around your plants to continue protection. No need to reapply. Money back guarantee. To purchase, go to deerdefeat.com and use coupon code RADIO to save 10% off your order.
Blue Ribbon Organics, providing locally made organic compost and soil blends for gardeners, farms, landscaping, and more. To find our products nearest you, visit blueribbonorganics.com.
Happy 65th anniversary to David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com. Are you bugged by bugs? You need naturally green products, No More Bugs, environmentally friendly. Made in the USA, No More Bugs is a cedar blend that repels and eliminates mosquitoes, no-see-ums, ticks, fleas, roaches, ants, and more. No More Bugs is safe for you, your pets, and plants. Available online at nomorebugs.net, Amazon, Walmart.com, and the Home Shopping Network.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Thank you for taking time to tune into the program this week. Time for your garden questions, our garden answers. You want to submit your question, you can do such at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll-free coast to coast at 1-800-927-7469. That's 1-800-927-SHOW. A lot of companies supporting the program financially to allow us to be on your radio right now. If you've missed any of the coupon codes or you want to find out more about them, you can do two things. You can go to our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and you click on the Season 8 tab at the top of the page to find all of them. And to find the coupon codes, you click on the Money tab at the top of the page. Let's see what we can get through the top of the hour here with questions. Holly?
All right, so what is the best way to plant long sprouted potatoes?
Well, long sprouted potatoes, when I hear that, I'm thinking 4, 6, maybe 7 inches long, the sprout on it. You do not want to break that sprout off. You want to bury it, and if you stick it above the ground, it's just going to burn off, and the plant will, the portion above the ground will burn off and die, but everything below soil will be fine and start generating a potato plant. The reason why you don't want to break it off is that's a lot of energy. That tuber, which is the energy for the plant to start to develop, has emitted in order to get that sprout to grow. Once the sprout gets to a certain level or size, the potato disconnects itself because roots have developed around that sprout, and the potato plant starts to grow. That's when you dig up the potatoes, you find that rotten one, you think, what happened here? That's the actual seed potato. Okay, let's go with another question. How do you keep your garden under a veg cloth pollinated when it's covered?
So covers do work best for leafy greens and veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, spinach, etc. You can use the covers for fruiting plants. That's helpful as well. But they do need to be pollinated by bees, butterflies, and other insects.
So you're going to have to remove them at some point.
Yep. So they don't just keep the bad bugs out, but they keep the good ones out too. So what you could do is you could lift the covers for a portion of the day to give the pollinators access and then bring them back down at night. That's pretty much your only option. There's no, it's just like when you use one of those all-purpose insecticides, it's going to get rid of the bad bugs and the good bugs.
So there's an opportunity that when opening this up to allow the pollinators in, you could, there could be bad bugs that get in there as well. It's not a fix-all, end-all.
No.
It greatly reduces the issue. But
especially overnight, because a lot of times, like, the bad bugs come out at night.
Right.
But it does help. You do it during the day. Maybe bugs are flying around more because of opportunity as opposed to at nighttime where they're flying around to attack your plants or something. So, yeah.
All right. I came across your video on the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com for bush beans versus pole beans. How do you determine which way to put the trellis to get sun on both sides equally? Well,
you would put it north to south.
Right.
Yeah.
It really, it's about the same either way you go.
Right.
But what we have done, or what you can do, is you're going to have your supporting post, one on the east side, or one on the north side, one on the south side. And you're going to run your trellis north to south. So the sun coming up in the east and setting in the west, the east sun will shine on the east side, and the west setting sun will shine on the west side. So you can get equal sun coverage. You can also go the opposite way, east to west, and the sun will hit the south side of that, and there'll be a few beans that will go on the north side of the trellis, and they'll still produce because a lot of the foliage is absorbing the sun. Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? Fight me about it. There's a lot of different answers, but we've done it both ways, and it's worked.
Right. I would just run north to south, or you could do like a circular.
But then what about the things in the center? How is that getting,
that's true.
There's many different
But like Joey mentioned, that because there is going to be foliage no matter what side, that
the foliage typically grows towards the sunlight. Yeah.
That will provide enough photosynthesis for all of the plants. So you should be good. I would personally just keep it, if you can, run those trellises north to south so that it can get the east and west sun and the midday sun more evenly, essentially. That's
all right.
Yeah. So another question is, on your podcast radio show, you suggest using whole grain cornmeal for tomatoes. I would like to try this, but I'm having trouble finding yellow whole grain cornmeal that is not expensive. Where do you get yours? What brand do you suggest? It is not cheap.
No, and
it's like $7 a bag, I think.
Right, and this show that you're listening to on the radio you can find it in a podcast form. So if you can't listen to all of it, or you want to catch back archives, they're all listed on the website and on our podcast housing.
Yeah, so just not to confuse it, we don't have like a separate podcast.
No, goodness, no.
So yeah, we use two brands typically. One would be Bob's Red Mill, and the other one is Hodgins Mills.
You can also find your local co-op might have
like an organic food.
Yeah.
But they might have it in bulk.
And the reason why we're talking about this, if you're not familiar, yellow whole grain cornmeal has a beneficial bacteria in it called trichoderma. What trichoderma does, it fights the bad bacteria in your soil, which is early blight. All soil has it. Doesn't matter what kind of soil you got, it's got early blight in it. At the time of planting tomatoes, you plant your tomato, you put your stuff in the hole, you cover the tomato roots up, and you sprinkle a handful of yellow whole grain cornmeal around the base of the plant. Then you mulch and you water. That yellow whole grain cornmeal greatly reduces by about 80% the chances or the likelihood your plant is going to get early blight. Early blight is caused by the soil, and 90% of the diseases your tomato plant has is by soil splashing up on the leaves, progressively working up the plant. By the end of the season, you got a plant with a lot of fruit and no leaves. So since we've been doing this since 2014, our plants have been as lush and green from early fruit development all the way up to the day of frost. Prior to this, our plants didn't exist by the end of the season because early blight had overtook it. So that's why we used yellow whole grain cornmeal. With that being said, we are out of time. It's time for the portion of the program with what we learned today. I learned when we had Carol on she's the editor of the Old Farmer's Almanac, that their weather forecasting, the founder of the Old Farmer's Almanac, they've been using the same formulation on how to predict the weather since 1792, and they've been almost perfect or 80+% accurate every year since then because of the formulation that the founder developed. Because we were in the sun cycle 25 now, and he figured all that out back years ago.
I learned that Joey and I agree that you should make your bean trellis go east to west.
There you go. What we learned today is brought to you by Honeybee Healthy.
Whether you're a gardener, a bee hobbyist, or a professional beekeeper, Honeybee Healthy Inc. has the products to help you maintain a healthy hive and thriving garden. For more information on how to use Honeybee Healthy in your garden, visit honeybeehealthy.com. And actually, I meant we both agree that your trellis should go north to south. I was getting all mixed up in my brain. Anyway.
So tune into the program next week where we will be discussing edible landscaping dealing with weeds, and our guest, Michael Perry, permaculture expert, will be with us. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.